Good evening, Toastmasters. It is 9 o'clock. Welcome to our regular Friday role players training sessions where we cover two roles generally. Tonight, we're covering the role of timer and then the role of Toastmaster of the day. This is the last Friday in the month of May, and we've actually gone through every single role. Toastmaster of the day is starting the roles all over again. I am glad that at least one person in this room is going to be playing the role of timer soon. So hopefully this is going to be very beneficial to you. The role of timer, what are your responsibilities and how do you play it? And I'll cover this in two parts. Before the meeting and during the meeting, what do you do? Before the meeting, as the timer, it's important that you know how much time you have on the agenda, especially if you're going to another club to play the role of timer. But even in your own specific club, for that meeting that day, the timing can vary. Please be very conversant of what is on your agenda, playing that role of timer. Prepare your explanation of your role. What exactly does the timer do? The timer pays attention to everything that happens in the meeting from the start to the very end and gives a report on the time people have used during every part of the meeting, meaning prepared speech, table topic speech, and every other time you speak. Now, for that specific meeting, the timer needs to know for prepared speeches, for instance, how much time are we going to use? Do we have only icebreakers, which goes from 4 to 6 minutes? Do we have standard speeches, which go from 5 to 7 minutes? Do we have a mix of both? Please, as the timer, you do not need to explain when you're going to show the green, yellow, and red cards for speeches that you don't have for that specific meeting. What that means is, if you only have icebreakers, for the prepared speech segment, you're going to explain that at 4 minutes, you show the green card. At 5 minutes, you will show the yellow card. And finally, at 6 minutes, you show the red card. And you have a grace of 30 seconds before you're disqualified from being voted for. If you have a speech of 5 to 7 minutes, at 5 minutes, you show the green card. At 6 minutes, you show the yellow card. And finally, at 7 minutes, you show the red card. And you have a grace of 30 seconds before you're disqualified from being voted for. And for those who don't know what we're voting for, usually we vote for who the best speaker is at that specific meeting. And timing is one of the criteria we use to determine if you qualify to be the best speaker for that specific meeting. Now, due to the beauty of technology, we get to have meetings in the virtual space, meaning we can have a virtual meeting, we can have a hybrid meeting, which is a combination of virtual and physical, or we can have strictly physical meeting for your cards. Now, I'm going to share something from the virtual space for either a virtual or hybrid meeting. One of the things you can do to help the speakers is simply to raise your hands. For those of you that can see all the icons, as soon as I raise my hand, it put me as the screen that is in essence sort of pinned where everyone can see me in the corner right there. Keep your hand raised the entire time when you're playing the role of timer. Now, let me show you the cards. There are numerous ways you can show your cards from the virtual space. For those of you that are going to be using a laptop, I know it may be different for your phones. For a laptop, you can easily just change your background. Now, let's say we have only icebreakers. When I'm explaining from the virtual space or for a hybrid meeting, but I, the timer, I'm coming from the virtual audience. When I say for 4 minutes, I will change my background to the green card. I should actually do that. Very easy. All I did was I chose the green card, which I've downloaded in advance. At 5 minutes, I'll change my background to the yellow card, which we can all see, I believe. If you cannot see it, you can type it in chat. Let me see. And at 6 minutes, I'll change my background to the red card. Very simple to see. You need to practice this in advance, please. Once again, keep your hand raised and show them how you're going to change the card. Just don't explain it. Speakers need to know exactly what you're going to look for when you are changing the cards. It's very important. If you play your role very well, you help to ensure that the entire meeting actually keeps to time. Remember our core values in Toastmasters. We have 4: respect, integrity, service, excellence. If the timer plays their role well, we ensure that we respect everyone that is playing a role or giving a speech, including audience members. We ensure we have integrity because when we promise that you are going to stay within 2 hours, we want to deliver that. We ensure that we're giving service. And finally, we ensure that we are excellent in what we do. The timer does all this. Before the meeting as well, usually, depending on if whoever your general evaluator is, if they're familiar with you, they need to have your introduction and be familiar with who you are. Ideally, the responsibility is on the general evaluator, but this will happen before the meeting. When the meeting commences, please show up early. Not on time, show up early. You need to settle in. If you're from the virtual space, you need to ensure that your system is properly set up, the video is working, the audio is working. Test this out before the meeting commences. You need to ensure that people can see your cards when you display them. If you're using the background, for some, you may want to show the card because you're not familiar with it, but it's easier, more professional to just change your background from the virtual space. If you're in the physical space, you have cards. What you do is, when it's time to show the green, please show the green. Raise it up the way you're going to do it if you're seated in the audience. Let them see what they're going to see. Yellow, red. And note you are going to be recording the time every single person uses. You are the one that is going to confirm if they met the time and they are permitted to be voted. Being outside the boundary of the time means they speak less than the required amount of time or more by 30 seconds. Please record every single time used by the speakers for that meeting. When the general evaluator is called up, they're going to call you and you will tell the audience what you're going to do. The introduction you prepared in advance, the explanation of your role, showing your cards. For those just joining, I was explaining that this is something new I learned. If you're playing the role of timer, simply raise your hand and it sort of pins you up there from the virtual space, and then you can change the cards. This is something that we don't use often, but in the international space, they started using this, and I think it's a very nice way of ensuring everyone gets to see the timer whenever they're changing their cards, excuse me. After you explain your role as the timer, note, all role players, every time you come up to explain your role, it's an opportunity to improve your public speaking. It's an easy way to ease yourself into becoming a better public speaker. Just don't go and randomly speak. Prepare your explanation properly and go and deliver. You are getting better as a speaker. For the timer, please start timing from the beginning of the meeting. I can't stress this enough. Sometimes a number of timers will start timing from when the general evaluator introduces them to come up and explain their role. However, because we've already had numerous speakers, at least 3 speakers before you explain your role speak, you have many opportunities for each speaker to exceed the time that has been allotted to them, which means you can go well beyond what is expected for the introductory portion. Once again, timer, please start timing from the beginning of the meeting, not when you're introduced, from the beginning of the meeting. Show them the cards, let them know how much time is allotted to them and how much time they've used. Very important. You are not going to speak until each segment concludes. What do I mean by that? We have prepared speeches, we have table topics, and evaluation, which is at the end, but you don't need to speak regarding evaluation because that is when you're going to deliver your report. Prepared speeches, we usually vote. You need to give the timing, meaning how much time each speaker has utilized, so we know who is eligible to be voted for. If the Toastmaster of the day forgets to ask you, please remind them that they need to know the timing. Same for table topics. Timer, table topics speaks for a minimum of 1 minute, maximum of 2 minutes, which you would explain. At 1 minute, and let me show you once again, they will see, just giving you a display of how you're going to do it. Background change to green at 1 minute, 30 seconds. Your background will change to yellow, and at 2 minutes, your background will change to red. Very easy when you're just changing your background. Your guests, especially when you have first-time guests, you need to ensure they understand this. Stress this. 1 minute green, 1 minute, 30 seconds yellow, 2 minutes red. You should tell the Toastmaster of the day how much time each table topic speaker utilized before the voting occurs. If anyone is disqualified, they should not be voted for. And then after prepared speech, after table topics, the next time you get to speak is during the evaluation, when the general evaluator calls you up to give your report. Sometimes when time has been exceeded, the general evaluator does not call the timer up. However, I think that takes away from your opportunity to once again improve your public speaking. Even if there's a notion that you've delivered most of your reports, I think the timer should still be called up to give their report nonetheless. You come up and you deliver a speech. Introduction, body, which is usually your report, and conclusion. Once you do that, during the evaluation portion, you are done for your role as timer. That, in summary, is what you do as the timer from the virtual, hybrid, and physical space. Okay. I was told that could I please share my screen to show us how I was able to change my background. Okay, we can do that. I am sharing my screen. So this is what I had behind. Let us look at Zoom. So can you see my Zoom icons here? You can unmute and let me know. Can you see it? Okay. So I click the video. I click adjust background and effects. I click the arrow on that video icon. And I go down. I've already downloaded the virtual background, by the way. Okay, you can see what's behind. It's not showing this. Okay. Maybe it's not letting you see that portion then. All right, that may be a challenge. So I'll just state it then. It's for whatever reason, it's not showing you the buttons on Zoom that I can click. Where you have video on Zoom, there's an arrow right next to that icon. You click it. Amongst your option, you have adjust background and effects. You click that. You see virtual backgrounds. Go there. I have a number because I attend different meetings. I have downloaded many virtual backgrounds. But for the sake of timer, you can go online. What you saw there online, I just went there and typed timing card, Toastmasters timing cards. You see green, yellow, red, and you download them. I already have them downloaded. I have, as part of my virtual backgrounds, green card, yellow card, and red card. When I want to change my background to green, I simply just click the green icon and it changes. For yellow, I click that and it changes. For red, I click that and it changes. And once I'm done, I can go back to my no virtual background, blurred virtual background, or some other option. Is that sort of straightforward? The best way to get it, I recommend for everyone, please go and try it out in advance. Not only should you try it before the meeting, also early before the meeting commences, come and try it out for that specific meeting to ensure that your video, the change of virtual background, and your audio are functioning properly. I hope that clarifies things. Okay, let's see a message. What about on phone? I apologize. I've not actually tested it out on phone. It's probably something I'll need to do before the next time we have the opportunity to train, because I think a number of us gets to only join using our phone. So that's something I'll test out. But this is why I felt I should share. For those of you joining late, let me reiterate this. The react button, click it and just raise your hand. It sort of pins your video the entire time. Keep your hand raised. Everyone can see it if you're in the virtual space or the hybrid space. Very important. So it seems like the phone request is a major one. I will go and learn how to do that, and then I'll share the next time we're covering this role. So please raise your hand if you're playing the role of timer. It just captures your video. Everyone can see it and just change your background. Very easy. It's something that they've been doing in the international space for a while, but I don't think we've been doing it. And I felt I should share it here as well. In summary, that's what you do when playing the role of background. Someone has typed in the chat for phone, go to more, background and effects, then choose the image. Questions, please type in the chat. I'm moving right along to the second role that we're covering tonight because our time is already fast spent, and then I'll attend to the questions afterwards. The second role we're covering is the role of Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster of the Day is, for whatever reason, one of the roles people run away from. And I like to tell people Toastmaster of the Day is one of the easiest roles to play. And yes, you heard me right. It's one of the easiest roles to play. What do I mean by that? If your agenda is properly prepared, and we cover how to prepare your agenda properly next Friday, all you have to do is literally take people through the agenda. As long as you can read, you can play the role of Toastmaster of the Day. What tends to happen is we elevate the Toastmaster of the Day to such a high pedestal that we are nervous when we're playing the role. You don't have to be humorous. You don't have to be able to tell stories. All you have to do is guide people through the agenda. Over time, as you get more comfortable, you can then figure out your own style of playing the role of Toastmaster of the Day. The only way to figure it out is to play the role. What do you do? I'll break it down into 3 parts. Before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. Before the meeting, what should you do? 1, please look at the agenda. Know the structure of everything that is going to go on, the time allotted for the entire meeting, and the time for each segment. You are the chief timekeeper. You need to be intimately aware of all the timing. You are going to introduce a number of people during the meeting. Every single person you're going to introduce, please, you need to know their introductions. Either memorize it or read it in advance. Why does it help to read in advance? It helps you familiarize yourself with how it's read. So when you're reading it from the stage, it seems natural. It also helps you check for errors. If there are errors, you want to identify it before the meeting, not during the meeting. Know if the person is male or female. When you're there from the stage and you're introducing them with such confidence as a he, and it's a she that comes out, some people start to question if you actually know what you're talking about. When your introduction is done well, it does two things. One, it helps the speaker actually have more confidence in delivering whatever they're going to say. And two, it helps the audience want to pay more attention to the speaker. Please do not joke with the introduction. Everyone you're going to introduce, familiarize yourself with the introduction. What else should you do? Something that is very important, at least from my perspective, is knowing the pronunciation of people's names. People actually like the way their names are pronounced. And if it's a difficult one and people observe that you make that effort to learn it, if you get it, fantastic. If you attempt, it's still good. They know that you tried. It goes a long way, and it's as simple as just asking for a voice note. Please send me a voice note of the pronunciation of your first and last names. I favor voice notes over calling to ask them. Once it's recorded, you can just, but do what you prefer by all means. You do this before the meeting. What else do you do before the meeting? You check up on those you're responsible for, especially if they are first timers or if you've never worked with them before. Just call, send a message. Are you prepared for your speech? For the general evaluator, is your team ready? Have you checked up on them? Follow up with everybody that you are working with. You are leading that team. It's your responsibility to ensure they are prepared. All this before the meeting. What else do you do? Remind your team to please show up early. Not on time, show up early. When people show up early, they can easily get settled in. They can network with people. They help you know that you don't need to get a last-minute replacement. It's not on the dot of when the meeting should be starting that I need to start looking for replacements. No. We get replacements before the meeting commences. And if it be a minute after, I should have replaced them. If they can just show up early, there is no need. Encourage your team, remind them, please show up early, not on time, so we can deliver the best possible performance we can give. Not on time, before the meeting starts. Very important. You also need to prepare the explanation of your role. Note, every role player is opportune to improve their public speaking, definitely including the Toastmaster of the day. If you're nervous, stick to keeping it as simple as possible. Take people through the agenda. If you're not nervous, you can infuse some stories, some humor, whatever it is you like, but ensure you keep within the allotted time. For the Toastmaster of the day, you need to also know who we are as Toastmasters. When we started, what we do, how many countries we're in, those tidbits of information. Why is this important? When we have new guests at our meetings, you're going to have to say this. All this, by the way, before the meeting. During the meeting, what do? You go from the Sergeant at Arms President to you. You come up, you explain to the audience what you do as the Toastmaster of the day. You simply take them through the program for that meeting. You explain who we are as Toastmasters. You explain the different segments we have. You can add roles. I like to have roles for every single meeting to help people engage. And then you introduce the general evaluator, who now introduces their team members and hand control back to you. You will now take the meeting through the prepared speeches each time introducing the evaluators to give the objectives as well as the speakers. Once prepared speeches are done, if we are voting at that specific meeting, you ask the timer, did all speakers keep to time? Essentially for their reports. If there are some that did not keep to time, they are disqualified from being voted for if we are voting at that meeting. You continue to the table topics portion of the meeting, introduce the table topics master, who handles that segment before handing control back to you. Once again, you ask the timer for the report. Was anyone disqualified by virtue of not keeping to time? You need to know this, and we can vote for everyone else. And then you move on to the final stage, the evaluation portion of the meeting. This part of the meeting, you call up the general evaluator to take control because they are in charge of the evaluation of the entire meeting. They will now call the prepared speech evaluators, the table topics evaluator, and their core team members give their overall report and hand control back to you. At this point, I recommend you do it in advance. But as the meeting proceeds, you may want to tweak it because you found something that is more relatable and you want to use as your conclusion from what transpired during the course of the meeting. At that point, you hand control back to the president. Your job for the meeting done. As the Toastmaster of the day, let me reiterate, if you are nervous, keep it as simple as possible. Just go through the agenda. If you're not, you can embellish and twist and infuse as much as you want to, all within the allotted time. That is before the meeting, during the meeting. Now, finally, after the meeting, I love to add this for anyone leading a team. If you're leading a team, you have people you've worked with. One of the easiest things you can do that is also very powerful is to appreciate your team members. Send them messages, call them, voice notes to tell them how much you appreciate what they did, how we added quality to the meeting, and how you're looking forward to working with them again. This will encourage them to want to do more, and not just do more, to want to do better. This is the power of appreciation. This you should do, I recommend, after the meeting. And in summary, that's a brief of what you do as the Toastmaster of the day. Do not overcomplicate it if you're nervous and if you're new to it. But if you're comfortable, you can make it as innovative as you want it to be, all within the allotted time. Any questions regarding the role of timer or the role of Toastmaster of the day? By the way, the best way to learn is to actually play the role, not to read about it, not to hear about it, not to join these sessions. These sessions will help give you information. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or send a message in the chat and we can look at the question and to the best of our abilities, attend to it. Toastmaster Mariam, please go ahead.
Good evening. How are you doing, Toastmaster John?
Good evening. I'm great. I hope you're doing well as well.
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I cannot turn my video. I'm actually on the third meal. But
That's fine.
I have a quick question, and my question is this. During your explanation on how to improve the role of timer, you said you learned something when people raise their hands, and that will pin you on the like you'll be pinned as like one of the top speakers in the meeting. So I have a question. If somebody is giving a speech, the person is already nervous, and all of a sudden during the meeting, they see somebody raise their hand. How will that not distract from the person who is already speaking and is probably nervous or something? So I think to make it easier, maybe the timer would need to explain that if somebody should see that my hands are raised during the speech, it's not like I'm trying to interrupt the speech, but I'm trying to remind you that your time is fast spent or something. So I don't know. So that's what I was thinking when you mentioned that timers can improve their roles by raising up their hands so that they are pinned to the top of the page. So that's my comment. Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Mariam. Yes, whatever you're going to do, please, you need to explain it to the audience. As the timer and any other role you're playing, explain to the audience exactly how you're going to play your role so they understand what they're looking out for. They don't want to be thrown off because you suddenly do something that they're not aware of because you were negligent to explain in advance, however you choose to do it. As far as I know, I've never been to a meeting, at least here, where we did this. But if we're doing this, I expect that there'll be a proper explanation in advance for whatever you're going to do. So that's a great one. Please just explain whatever you're doing in advance so they know. Thank you so much for that. And I would like to say officially it's 9:30. This is from 9 to 9:30. We are done. You are free to leave and go and enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Prepare for roles if you're playing roles tomorrow, maybe even tonight. Who knows how late some people have meetings. But for those that still have questions or comments, you can still wait behind. I'm still here and we can attend to them. For those of you leaving, thank you for joining. Please play the role of timer and Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Zoe, you ran away. Please play the role of Toastmaster of the day. It's not as scary as you think it is. Okay, Toastmaster Penta. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Can I provide any tips on how to prepare before giving any speech? Toastmaster Penta, do you have any specifics on what you mean by prepare? Do you mean the speech is already written out and you just want to practice? What exactly are you looking for in terms of tips? That's a very broad question. Can you be specific to help narrow it down?
Good evening, Mr. John.
Good evening.
Actually, I first met you a few weeks back when I attended my first session in Indian Embassy. And I couldn't stay for long. That was the first time I attended the Toastmasters. So this is the second time Mr. Pradeep has shared the link in the WhatsApp. So I don't know much about this, what is the process. And, I saw the day I stayed for 30 minutes. So I saw some people have given speech immediate. They gave a topic and immediately they have to perform like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. So I'm talking about that immediate speech.
Okay. Toastmaster Penta, are you a member of Toastmasters already?
No, not yet.
Okay. So you're still a guest. Do you plan to join to be a member?
Yes, before that, I want to understand what exactly the activities what we
When
are
you join.
no, before I join, I want to know what exactly happens.
Okay. I would recommend that you please reach out to the executives at CCC, Toastmaster Pradeep included, and they can explain a lot of these things to you regarding what happens at a standard Toastmasters meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, no problem.
Okay. You can also reach out to me directly if you want to. I am putting my number in the chat right now. You can save that and reach out to me, and I'll explain that to you. Is that all right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Any other questions regarding the role of timer, role of Toastmaster of the day, or other roles? Because now we're outside our 30 minutes for today's segment. Any other questions or comments? You can raise your hands, you can send a message in the chat, and we'll attend to them. And if we don't have any, then we'll just call it a night, and we can go and do other things that we may have for tonight. Okay. Okay. Toastmaster Penta, I don't know if you're looking at the chat. You're told that please be available for a session planned for your club on 7th of June. Toastmaster Nude should have the details you are looking for. Did you get that, Toastmaster Penta? I keep calling you Toastmaster. Soon to be Toastmaster.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I saw the
You
message.
are welcome. So please be at CCC on the 7th of June and we'll explain all that. Thank you so much, our distinguished Toastmaster, Abubakar Gimba. Any other questions or comments? For lack of questions or comments, maybe they are still coming and I'm using this to take up some space. If you are scared of playing the role of timer or Toastmaster of the day, you are exactly the one that needs to play the role. Why? The reason of doing anything we do is for mastery. Let me say that again. The reason of doing anything we do is for mastery. And what do I mean by that? Doing something to the point where it becomes second nature, where you don't really have to think about it. That's the stage where you don't feel overwhelmed and you're not using too much energy. You only get to that stage of mastery by repetition. Not doing it once, not doing it twice, doing it a lot. What we tend to do is we think we're bad at something, we pull away and refuse to do it, meaning those who are seemingly good or are actually better keep doing those things and keep getting better. They master it. And we keep saying here, staying back, wondering, why are they so good? It's because they've been doing it. If truly you're bad, you're exactly the person that needs to do it more. If you've ever uttered those words, I'm really bad at playing the role of timer, or I'm really bad at playing the role of Toastmaster of the day, it means you need to sign up. Not once, not twice, but a lot. Because you attended this session, I say sign up sooner rather than later. Hopefully, there are some tips you got right now. You need to implement them as fast as possible. Toastmaster Bernice, please go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me just right?
Good evening. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. I just joined the meeting. I joined a little bit late because I was on another call before this. But could you